What is going on, everybody? It is the Going Over Big Time podcast. I am Mike Charlip, and I am once again joined by my friend and co-host, Alan the Cantastic. And today, we are here to discuss all things WWE. And just a forewarning, this isn't going to be a very positive podcast. There's a lot going on right now in the WWE side of things, and it's not all very good.
Well, Mike, before you continue, I will like to say some positive news. Congratulations to New York City for electing what I believe is the first wrestling fan as their mayor,
Well,
or more
that
specifically, AEW stan Zoran Mamdani, who
yeah,
was last seen a while ago at Dynamite Grand Slam watching CM Punk's ring entrance.
yeah. I mean, that's not positive on the WWE side, but sure, it is positive, I guess.
A positive overall piece of news for I think many quarters of people. And yeah, okay, but anyway, you were just discussing. I just want to tie that in a little bit. It's just funny that this guy probably has seen the entire Okada Omega series in New Japan somehow.
Well, he attended the same event that I attended, the
Yes.
very first Grand Slam,
Yeah,
which saw the opening match of, and the only time we ever saw it in AEW, of Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega.
Well, now he is running the biggest city in the United States. One of the Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, blah blah blah.
Anyway,
Yes, WWE
yes.
sucks. Why?
Well, there's a long list of reasons why, but one of the bigger ones is so a couple of weeks ago, actually this was last week, I believe. They started showing these weird promo videos on social media, right? And it was just feet. So immediately, people were like, "Oh, this has to be a return. This has to be a debut or something." Um, so they got people excited.
You might want to clarify feet, because for those who hadn't seen it, just hearing from you them showing videos of feet sounds a little bit funky. So what they actually showed looks
walking
like,
shoes.
yes, shoes, like really nice Gucci's, nice leather shoes, walking towards something.
So when the first video came out, initially, people were speculating, "Oh, this could be Gunther's return or Santos Escobar's return, since he hasn't come back since he re-signed." But then more videos started coming out of different shoes walking. So then when this happened, people were like, "Oh, maybe it's a new group or a faction or something like that." But then there was two videos in particular that started to get people wondering what was going on here. There was one of more shoes walking, this time in jeans. And that was a very distinct person that we were very well aware of who it was. And then there was another one of hands with a ring on their finger. Of course, these were both Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. And then more reports started coming out that people were getting excited for nothing. It was promo videos hyping WrestleMania. And that's exactly what it was. Because we ended up getting a promo video of Triple H narrating Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes playing poker to promote WrestleMania once again being in Las Vegas. And Paul Heyman was just standing there watching. So they got the entire fan base excited for nothing to put out this promo video of all right, so first big red flag. Why are Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in this video? Because they're never on TV. They don't bring anything to the company anymore that is positive in any way. Roman shows up and does the exact same thing every single time. He gets beat up, or he comes back to save the Usos from getting beat up. Then he gets beat up. Then he gets stretchered out, and he does that over and over again until he has a match.
This year, he has been doing that constantly, and it's like since he's lost the title, they haven't figured out what to do with him.
And we've talked about this on numerous occasions, but there's a multitude of reasons why nobody wants to see Brock Lesnar. And some of them are very negative, and some of them are just, I don't want to see that guy in a ring anymore. He's boring, which is 100% true, because all he does is 5 German suplexes and 3 F5s in every single match. He brings nothing to the product.
Yeah, like you go back and watch you go back to that match they had at SummerSlam with him and John Cena, I think. Was it SummerSlam? I can't remember. I can't even remember anymore, because the last time we saw Brock Lesnar,
WrestlePalooza.
Yeah, WrestlePalooza. Oh my, the ridiculously sounding pay-per-view name that I barely remember, in which Brock Lesnar once again just repeated the 2014 SummerSlam, where he wiped the floor with Cena of 2014 to win the WWE title. And at this point, he did the same thing again, except, no title on the line. And then after that, Brock Lesnar wins, and then he just disappeared from TV until he came back on this promo. So,
and let's not forget that they did all of that just to sell the first ever show on ESPN. Absolutely not a single person wanted to ever see John Cena versus Brock Lesnar ever again. And Triple H tried to say that it was John Cena's idea, when we know that it wasn't. And again, Brock Lesnar, for a multitude of reasons, should not be on my screen. Nobody wants to see him on their screen. So, one of the things that arose from this WrestleMania promo was the fact that we had 4 40-plus white guys promoting WrestleMania. Not a single woman and not a single person of color to promote WrestleMania. Absolutely no diversity.
Technically speaking, Roman Reigns is half Samoan, at least, I think.
Sorry, so I forgot Roman. I forgot. See how much I forget. See how much I forget that Roman is even in that, because he's never around.
Oh man, yeah. Yes. Okay, Roman being the exception. Yes, this was. I'm actually glad you brought this up, because I rarely try to talk about the race thing. I mean, I just try to enjoy the product, right? But yeah, when you think about it, yes. Your 3 of the main stars that are probably going to be in your main event are all cisgender white men. You couldn't put in even Charlotte Flair or Rhea, or even just do a whole one where it's women. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you wanted to make things more interesting, do a whole women's version and have Stephanie come out playing the role of Triple H or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they'll have Charlotte, Io, Rhea, Bianca, put more than 4 women around the table.
Just do something different.
Yeah, but this one was just...
This did nothing to make me care about WrestleMania, because 2 of the people in the thing I don't want to see anymore.
Oh man. Well, at least
And
we still had Punk and Cody, but unfortunately, they're probably facing people that you don't want to see anymore.
yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, they basically honey dicked us on this promo video to get us excited about this video that was just to promote WrestleMania. And then Triple H is right there in the center of attention, and he says all the time, "Oh, I don't want to be the center of attention." He made himself center of attention in this video, and it's just so aggravating that you have people like Rhea, who hasn't been around in like a month, and then
Well, she broke her nose first of all, so I don't know if they could have shot a video before that happened, but
and Io, who is the best wrestler on the entire roster, and she doesn't even get to use 50% of what she can do in the ring because WWE has to water everything down. And like Becky, of course, is the biggest star in your entire company. And it's like, can we just actually care about your audience? Like, why would I want to see Brock Lesnar in a promo of anything? Why? I love, and I, this is nothing against Roman Reigns, the person, nothing against him. He's done a lot for the business, but he hasn't done enough in the last year and a half for me to care that he is around. Or
yeah, it goes. I mean,
sometimes around.
yeah, like he went from like just well, I mean, even when he was in the final years of his like historic championship reign, it was like rarely showed up, but there was at least some storylines that were tying things in. Now you basically are just like repeating the same script over and over again every few months. It's kind of strange. At first, I thought it was just because Roman had like outside projects that he was working on and needed like you know breaks in between. So they just, but even still, like it kind of makes no sense if you're just gonna bring him in for like a week or two and then he just has one big match and then whatever, he's gone again.
I mean, and there's only a couple, and we've talked about this in the past too. There's really only a couple of matches we really want to see out of him. It's Braun Breaker, it's Jacob Fatu. That's it. There's really none. There aren't any others. I don't need to see a CM Punk singles match. I don't need to see him face Cody ever again. Ever again. And it's not even that it's been done to death. It's just it's been done enough times on the big enough stage that I don't care to see it ever again. But of course, they're going to want to do it again at some point because they're 1-1 at WrestleMania, so they have to do it again at some point. But it's like, and staying on Roman Reigns, and you mentioned his monumental title reign,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a record. It's just a really long title reign. And after that happened, after it ended at WrestleMania 40, we got to a point where we were like, okay, time to move on from Bloodline stuff, right? No. 5 years past him starting that monumental title reign, and we are still doing Bloodline stuff. But the difference is there's absolutely no direction, and we're going backwards. Because you have Jay and Jimmy who are teaming again, even though there's supposed to be a brand split and Jimmy's supposed to be on SmackDown. And Roman is just randomly showing up to save them a bunch. But Jay is hyper focused on being world champion again, and Roman is talking to him like he's a piece of shit. Like nothing's changed. Roman is still a heel. He just gets cheered because people like to see him. There's literally nothing. Roman has learned nothing as a character. Literally nothing. He's still an asshole. He still thinks he's better than everybody. And he's still treating Jay like a piece of shit, even though Jay turned on him.
Jay, who also won singles titles on his own, became world heavyweight champion, beat a guy like Gunther at WrestleMania.
And Jay is getting upset that he's not the world champion anymore. And Jimmy is telling him that he sounds like Little Roman. Like, what are we doing? Why are we still doing this? Like, if you want to do an Usos heel turn, I'm all for that. But do it at the expense of something else, not more Roman stuff. Because we've done this already.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't want to correct you and be backtracking a little bit here. Roman's title reign is the longest, at least in the modern era. The only people that have surpassed his title reigns are Hogan, I think, and Bruno Sammartino, which are historical references that I don't think modern fans would, cling to. So for a good chunk of current fans today, that reign of 1,300 whatever days is probably the longest they will remember. And yeah, like I always tell you, man, like looking back at that title reign, some of the matches may have been repetitive and they too much bloodline interference, going back to your point here, but at least there was some substantive like development there. At least it in a sense pushed some people somewhat.
I'm not diminishing the title reign.
But since then, since the title reign ended, because that was a big story of like ending the title reign. Yeah, you're right. There has been a very misdirection. Repeating, just keeping bloodlines. It's like if you happen to be Samoan, you have to be wrapped up in this bloodline vortex of like just even like when they set up that program for a clash in Paris between Roman and I think Bronson Reed. Even at that point, one promo had Roman going, "Wait a minute, this guy's Samoan? That means you work for me." So, I mean, no, it doesn't. Bronson has no relation to the Anoa'i family, as far as I know. So he's just a guy who happens to be from the island of Samoa, or has some roots perhaps as a Samoan, but there's no bloodline stuff related to that. And I think the only thing they actually managed to do as a positive push is to have Bronson Reed beat Roman one-on-one and actually push him, because now he and Braun Breaker are look like they can probably destroy the whole roster.
Well, yeah, and that made sense.
But other than that, yeah, it's been really trying watching like Roman come back and just disappear again and come back and disappear again. Because do I really care for Cody versus Roman 3? The only thing that would intrigue me is if like Cody actually turned heel, like literally, like actual, not like teasing it, not like kind of half-assing it, like this is an actual heel turn. But to your point, it's confusing because Roman's acting like a heel. So like, how to his brother or to his cousin at least? So am I supposed to find sympathy for Roman because he's telling Jay that he's not worth anything when Jay, in fact, actually has done some substantive stuff as a singles guy on his own.
Yeah.
And Jay himself, Jay Uso, the character, should not be listening to Roman Reigns giving him advice when I just articulated the reason why.
He freaking left the bloodline high and dry and went to Raw by himself because he was sick of Roman. And now he's listening to Roman again? Like he didn't learn anything either? Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then you have whatever that thing is over on SmackDown with Solo. Like, that's I don't know what that is.
Well, I believe the face paint is an allusion to the old New Japan Gorillas of Destiny look.
That's fine. It's not about the face paint. It's about the group as a whole. It's horrible. And it's really bad.
I mean, the MFT, the name MFTs. I don't like that that acronym because I mean I know it's supposed to stand for his either my family tree or my favorite Tongans or
Yeah.
whatever. But it just sounds like NFT, and it just makes me think of like crypto scams, and that's just not really a thing I want to think about. Am I supposed to feel that they are more dangerous now that they have face paint on? I don't know. I think it looks kind of silly on like Jeff
Oh,
Cobb and
yeah.
Hikaleo, to be honest. It only
It
makes
really
sense on
does.
like Tama and Tongaloa.
Well, because
'Cause
they
I've
did it
Yeah,
before.
they did it before.
Because they did it before. But it just, and Jeff Cobb just being in that group at all, like, what are we calling him in WWE?
JC Mateo.
That's right, JC Mateo,
JC Mateo.
Jeff Cobb Mateo.
It's yeah,
Um,
like I don't even
yeah,
know I don't even know if Jeff Cobb has like Samoan roots of any kind.
he doesn't. He's from Guam. He, he is. He's from Guam, or he's like
Oh my god.
Hawaiian or
Yeah,
something.
okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Like
And
yeah, this
and they
well,
literally
he's
just
born in Hawaii.
yeah.
But yes, his nationality is Guam, which, people have got to educate themselves. Guam is a U.S. territory, not necessarily Samoan, because
No.
it's he's American. He's just an American guy. But yeah, he just looked. It just like he looked Samoan enough to pass off as, oh
Yeah.
yeah, hey, you can be in the being the Timu bloodline
And
or whatever.
they literally gave Hikaleo a meme as a name because his name is Tala Tonga. Like the tall Tongan,
Oh my
Tala
god,
Tonga. Like
that's stupid.
you can't even make this shit up. Like, but yeah, I'm just tired of Bloodline. I'm tired of Roman being an asshole to his family, and then me expecting to care about either side because both sides look stupid. It,
Well,
it
unfortunately, if you've seen that like graphic that they did at during the WrestleMania 40 promotion build up, The Rock was showing on the big screen that the bloodline is this huge tree of family that's going to stretch
Mhm.
on for a while. So there's like, Samoans and Tongans just lurking out there. They're going
Yep.
to keep milking this thing for the next decade or so.
Well, they just fired
Um,
a Samoan, didn't they? I
yeah, they
think.
fired one guy, but they literally he was never on TV at all.
Yeah,
So
that's
they
true.
never, it wasn't like one of those abrupt cancellation of contracts, even though the guy's in the middle of a storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and
don't know.
here's another thing. You just reminded me of a thing. Um, this Ridge Holland thing that's going on. So, for those that don't know, Ridge Holland was injured at a TNA event. It was later revealed that wrestlers were not getting paid extra to work for TNA at all. And he got injured severely and then was told a week after the injury that his contract was not being renewed. And so now he doesn't have an income. And he's injured like really bad.
Wow.
WWE legally has to pay for the rehab, but they're not paying him like injury time because he got injured right before his contract was up. And he's going on social media and supposedly he has a 90-day.
Wait,
Or
does he though? Or did his contract like was not renewed?
it's so weird because they're saying that he's not supposed to be talking ill about WWE in the time period after he got hurt, even though he's supposedly not under contract anymore. But it's so odd. And it's like, well, first, the guy got hurt under your watch, even though you sent him to a TNA show, a partner. You sent him to a partner's show. And then he got hurt. And then you told him a week later, right before his contract was to expire, that he was getting fired. Even though as soon as he got hurt, well, not fired. His contract was not being renewed, even though as soon as he got hurt, his contract should have been frozen, like everybody else who gets hurt.
Hmm.
So he should have remained under contract until he was healed and continued to get paid. And now he's not getting paid at all because he can't work. So it's mind-boggling that this is even a topic that WWE, because WWE just doesn't care because they didn't want him anymore. And because he got hurt in a TNA show and not a WWE show, his contract didn't get frozen. I just think it's just messy.
Yeah, there's these legal things that have been popping up lately that are confusing, and like, you know, as not being a lawyer, I don't want to, you know,
Yeah,
make
I'm
comments.
not one either.
Like the thing with Andrade, right? Like, you know, he was released, my understanding. Apparently there's a 90-day non-compete, and then like the week after it just appears on Dynamite. And now he has to be taken off TV because he might have violated that non-compete clause.
Well,
and now it might be
supposedly
going to court to like decide whether this whole 90-day non-compete thing is even legal.
Well, no, it wasn't even the 90-day. It was because he was fired with cause. And supposedly WWE has a clause in all of their contracts that if you get fired with cause, it's a 1-year no compete.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right.
And because he was fired off of being off of testing positive for like a banned substance for the second time.
Yeah.
And usually that used to mean that you would get suspended for 60 days.
Right.
The first violation was 30 days. The second violation was 60 days. The third violation, I believe, was 90. And if it happened again, you were fired.
Oh,
forever.
I thought it was a third violation. It was just fired. Like you don't even get 90. I mean, that's it. That's the third.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
time.
Yeah,
It's a pattern, pretty much, right?
yeah. I could be completely wrong on the days or whatever, but either way, he was told that he was fired and was under the impression that he didn't have a non-compete because he did not know about the fired with cause clause in the contract. That's why he went to AEW a couple of weeks after being told he was let go, and then WWE took legal action because of that clause. And now there was reports that they were trying to get him to work for them in the time that he has that non-compete, but why would he want to do that?
That's just weird. I don't know what else to say about that.
But
you know, it's like
yeah.
They beat your ass, they shoot you in the leg, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, come over for tea." You know, come by for a drink. It's just you know, you fired the guy, you know, up with clause maybe, but then you slap him with this like 1 year you can't work clause, and then now they're saying, "Oh no, come back." You know, maybe you can do some stuff for us, maybe. Like just like it's a pathological level of behavior that's just
David Otunga, who of course we know as a former WWE
who is a lawyer,
has said in a public forum that he believes that if Andrade fought this contract with good legal representation, that he fought this clause, that he would win. Because it's a load of crap. You fired the guy. I mean, we don't know all the details as to why he was fired. You could say it was the suspension for the drugs, but if there was something else, we don't know that for sure. But this just isn't fair to the guy. Like, you caused this problem. He didn't cause the problem. Maybe because the substance that he got banned for was prescribed to him.
That's possible. That's possible.
I mean, we don't know that, but it's just another thing to add to the list of like, what is this company doing? Like, they're trying to be more of a corporation than they are a wrestling company, and I get that. I mean, Triple H is going on record so many times saying that they don't care if the matches are good as long as there's a good story to tell. He
Well,
literally,
they're not even doing that. What's the story?
well, and that's the thing. He said this on a podcast. He said that our goal is to tell good stories, and it's not our goal to have good matches instead of good stories. So as long as the story is done right and done and told well, it could be a horrible match, and he would still consider it a success.
I think he actually said at one point, like, I want to be like the MCU of, I want WWE to be like MCU.
Yeah,
But I'm like, have you watched MCU?
that
Because I've
doesn't
watched almost every movie in MCU. There's
same.
storylines that the
And
movies tie into each other.
you can't even say that because WWE is a weekly product. You can't say that we're going to build this up like MCU when MCU is built up over years and years of movies and shows and all of these things that isn't weekly. You can't even say that. You can't even put on a good show on a week-to-week basis because every main event on Raw is ending in a no contest, a DQ, a double count out. You can't even just have matches.
Like in terms of repetitiveness, like besides the Roman coming back and leaving, coming back and leaving, there's also the thing about Division now minus Seth Rollins coming out, laying waste, beating crap people up. Braun Breaker doing great spears, by the way. Yeah, but he keeps just doing them every week, and then it's just another Vision beat down. Used to be like a bloodline beat down. Now it's just Vision beating. It's just the Bronsons beating people up every week. There's no real rhyme or reason. I feel like. I mean,
And
you obviously hated the end of Raw this week, and I mean, I think they tried to make it look interesting, inserting the Logan Paul as part of the story, but it's like I don't really care about Logan Paul joining the Vision. At this point, I don't even know if they made it look like he joined the Vision because
yeah.
he just gave Paul Heyman his brass knucks. And
Well,
what does
and
that mean?
let's think about this. Like they tried to put sympathy on Logan Paul at the beginning of the show. Logan Paul, of all people, who is literally hated for being a horrible person, not even hated for being a heel in wrestling. He's hated for a multitude of reasons also that are legally bad. Like he's done things that he is not a good person at all. And he doesn't deserve the stage that he has. And I don't care one bit about seeing Logan Paul ever, let alone in a wrestling ring. And you have CM Punk coming out there on the first Raw with him as champion and says that he wants to face all challengers, and that he knows that that Braun Breaker and blah blah blah, he'll face Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed on his own. He don't care. And then freaking Logan Paul comes out, and CM Punk, despite me not really enjoying his most recent run in general, does what every single person in that moment would have done.
No.
He
Stop the music.
he
Cut. Do not give
he
this man a microphone. No, this is not what
because because he can't. And this is another thing that we talk about a lot in not just WWE but all of wrestling, of people just deciding that they deserve a title shot because of who they are and not because they earned it, because he didn't earn it. He just came out and was like, oh, you want to face anybody? I'm standing right here. I don't care to see Logan Paul versus anybody, let alone CM Punk, because I don't want to see Logan Paul ever. Not even just in WWE, literally ever. And it's just, and then you tried to get sympathy for this guy who is legitimately hated by having the Vision beat him up, and then have CM Punk play the stupid babyface who believes that Logan Paul is trying to change. when Logan Paul just did exactly what we expected him to do. So in turn, you made CM Punk look stupid for caring that Logan Paul got beat up by the Vision, and then you made the fans look stupid for thinking that they could care about him at any point. It was literally no positives in that at all. It's just crazy to me that you have this whole roster of wrestlers that don't get to do anything because you're wasting time to have this guy or Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns just on the screen for random moments of time that mean nothing. It's crazy to me. And I don't care. It does not help Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker to be associated with Logan Paul. If anything, it makes them look worse.
Yeah. Logan Paul is not the person I would have selected to enhance that group. Now that you removed Seth Rollins. I don't even know if they should be called Division anymore. Division was a name based off of Seth's character. I mean, now to me they're just the Bronsons or the Bronze or whatever you want, whatever BRON abbreviation you want to use. You know, I can name off the top of my head at least 3 or 4 other people that would fit better with this group than Logan Paul. And you know, I had to just quickly look at myself as you obviously hate Logan Paul with a passion. I had to remind myself what things Logan Paul did that really would generate sort of the hatred. Obviously, the main thing is the Suicide Forest controversy in Japan, which, yeah, it's a terrible thing. And I don't think I don't think he's ever apologized for that or even held himself accountable to things like that. I don't know, but yeah, I think YouTube at one point suspended Logan for like a bunch of really weird stuff he was doing on his YouTube channel.
Oh,
like
and
giving his fish CPR or something about the Tide Pod challenge.
Oh, let's not forget the pump and dump that he got sued for.
Okay.
Let's not forget that. And that was for some reason just thrown away. That lawsuit was thrown away for some reason. Nobody knows why. He very clearly did this. Oh, and let's not forget that he evades taxes by living in Puerto Rico.
Okay. So I don't know this guy's background as well as I probably should. The only thing I am aware of is that like he's a Donald Trump fan, but that's not really a thing you can hate someone for. I mean, whatever.
Oh,
like
no.
a whole bunch
it has nothing to do with
a whole bunch of people in that kind of space loves Trump anyway, so it's not like he's the only one. But yeah,
no, it has nothing to do with politics. Nothing.
Yeah. It's just that you just see him as just a horrible person who does things that really like no normal people without means can't really do from themselves, and yet he's just kind of like, you know, taking advantage of like certain advantages in his life and just not doing things right, I guess. I mean, like the pump and dump thing you mentioned, that's a weird one. And tax evasion, yeah, that's another major problem.
Yeah. There's a long list of things that he has done that make him a horrible person. And my hatred for him goes beyond wrestling. It goes beyond.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but look, you're looking at an era of WWE right now where they are really focused on the bottom line and really enhancing the brand as a global platform. So obviously they will tolerate little things like a Logan Paul or a Brock Lesnar in their presence. And when I say they're really expanding their reach, trying to expand their reach as a global platform, that's going to cost a lot of money. And speaking of money, I mean, another thing you want to bring up was the recent ticket prices for WWE these days. It's just insane. It's literally insane.
Yeah. I mean, most shows, especially pay-per-views, the cheap seats are barely $400 to $500. If you want to sit front row, you have to pay like almost $40,000. Like
I was just looking it up earlier before we went on air, and like the average price for like Raw or SmackDown Live is like $30 to $50, and that's just for like I guess the higher level seats, and then the scale increases as you move on further down, somewhere between $200. And then apparently the VIP packages, like these things you're mentioning, range from $35,000 to $70,000. I mean, what kind of
Yeah.
people are you trying to attract when you're charging like that level of pricing? Like that's that's an average salary for most Americans, I would say. For
Yeah.
an average
I
American,
mean, for me, who has a standard job, I barely make 40K a year, and I live in New York. Like, it's crazy. But Nick Khan tried to defend this in a recent interview and said that the reason that prices are as high as they are is because they've cut out live events in America, and that people are going to see the hot ticket of WWE going on European tours and having big pay-per-views in Saudi Arabia and want to go. So they're still going to want to pay these prices even though they probably can't afford them. So he just gave the corporate answer, not the answer that the fans want to hear. And
it's I mean, maybe one way to look at it is that at least he's being honest. He's not trying to bullshit you. He's telling you, yeah, we're doing way more shows in places like Saudi Arabia and other international markets, and we want to make more money. I mean, that's the corporate answer, right? We want to make more money. We want to maximize revenue generation.
yeah,
And you have to look at and this is so surprising me for me to think about this is that one of the things that Vince McMahon still got right leading up to the final years of his time with the company his family built for 40, 50 years is that he still priced it so to make sure that families can still attend WWE shows. Like you want to make
mhm,
sure that the kids can go with their parents, which was, a very wholesome, all American traditional thing. And that he at that age and with all the things that were surrounding Vince at the time, that he still understood, yeah, we need to make sure this is that the average normal regular American, regular person can still afford to come to our shows because this is what we're all about. It's a family entertainment in terms of having families being able to gather there and all be together and watch this thing, right? Um, but apparently that's not the case anymore because now every time I watch Raw on Netflix or tune into a PLE, they're always highlighting, hey, look, it's so and so from the San Francisco 49ers. This actress starring in the latest Netflix series, blah, blah, blah.
mhm,
Oh, look, it's UFC featherweight champions, this guy, or
yeah,
whoever. And,
yeah.
it's,
Well, yeah, because that's at the end of at the bottom line is all they care about is the public perception of their company, and the public perception right now is that it's the quote unquote place that everybody wants to be, and with ticket prices being as bad as they are and viewership being down, I mean, just this past week, time of recording, SmackDown saw viewership uh go down to like less than a million in like nationally, I think.
hmm,
But it's not really about the ratings. It's about like because ratings at the end of the day don't matter anymore. They haven't in a long time. But it's they're pricing out their fan base because, as you mentioned, the people that are watching the shows are children and casual fans. Because the wrestling fans who actually want to see wrestling are turning WWE off because they're not getting to see that. Because we talk about all the time how like Raw specifically is between 2.5 to 3 hours, and most weeks there's 4 or 5 matches, and the women's match is usually less than 10 minutes long, unless it's like a big name match for, something specific. And the opening like half hour is people talking for almost a half hour to 40 minutes when it could just be a quick 15 and get to the first match.
I mean, they used to do it like that, as far as I remember. Like, when Triple H was still a competitor, like you get a 20-minute promo or Triple H promo, and then you go move on to the rest of the show. I mean,
CM Punk
now
was
it's
in the
now
ring.
now it's like you can almost go 40 minutes. Sometimes it's like a
CM,
bloodline segment that lasted 40 minutes.
this past Monday, CM Punk was in the ring to start the show for almost a half hour. Just talking. Just talking. And then it turned into a brawl where Logan Paul got beat up by the Vision. It's just, I say this all the time. I know that WWE does not book their shows for me, and that's the way it is. But I spent a lot of years watching this company when it was worse than it is now, and it's just not getting better. People talked about for years how things would change if Vince McMahon was gone. And the only thing that's really changed since Vince is gone is that we don't see the same rematches every 5 weeks because he forgot that he did them. And everything else is literally the same because none of the storylines matter. None of the matches tend to matter because they barely want to have matches.
I will say I find actually minor storylines way more interesting. Like there's occasional periods where like I get heavily invested in like a minor storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I guess an example would be, I guess, when Asuka came back, like way back, like she did a thing where she stopped using the face paint and then she disappeared for like a month or so, and then I think it was the Royal Rumble in 2024. So she came
Mm-hmm.
out with like this face paint. I was like, oh wow, that's the thing she did in Japan.
Yeah.
I've never seen it on American television, right? And then she started looking like, oh, this is like Crazy Kana from uh um Stardom or whatever she was on back in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now they kind of watered it down, unfortunately. Just made it back to like the Kabuki Wars again. But at that period, I was kind of interested in like seeing Asuka every week. And then I guess lately I found like them doing Alistair and Selena, the pairing, a little interesting. I thought at least, oh, okay, that's at least something new. Because Selena, ever since she kind of split off from like the LWO, just wasn't really catching on. I mean, she was like United States Women's Champion for a bit, but then, I mean, what was that? That was it. I mean, so I thought at least her being with her real life husband on screen was a more natural pairing. And I
Mm-hmm.
was really hoping they would keep AJ Lee on because they just signed her to a long term contract. But ever since WrestlePalooza, she won the big match and then she just disappeared. So it's like doing the Roman Reigns thing.
Well,
I don't know.
supposedly
I find
she.
maybe I'm just maybe I'm a little more optimistic because I watch NXT more regularly than you do, and
Mm-hmm.
at least the thing they're doing, like with like at least with them doing stuff with TNA, that at least like kind of gins up the storylines a little bit more interest to me. But yeah, as in terms of main roster stuff, it's a little bit like I don't know, it's just the same old stuff. I mean, right now the one thing interesting that's going on is this last time is now tournament to determine John
Mm-hmm.
Cena's final opponent. So at least they're putting matches together that I may not have seen before. Like next week on Raw, they could put Shinsuke versus Sheamus, and I can't remember what the other match was, but Shinsuke versus Sheamus. I don't recall seeing that. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it's Damian Priest
Oh yeah,
versus.
Damian Priest versus Rusev. That's
That's it.
that's
That's
gonna
it.
get someone's gonna go to the hospital with that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a first time ever match.
yeah.
That
So those are at
uh
least so in terms of
yeah.
matches, right? Now, is this just like temporary kind of like a boost because it's a Cena retirement tour thing. I don't know,
Well,
but
and let's not forget that they fumbled that as well
yeah.
because they.
I
I
mean, they
mean,
had a great. I mean, I will still remember the moment when I sat live in Toronto and watched that heel turn, where we were also like
yeah,
optimistic. Holy shit! What are they gonna do? Oh my god, he's never done this before. And then they
yeah.
just kind of like, ugh,
Well, the
watered
whole
it
thing was
down.
the whole thing was derailed by The Rock, and
Yes, the whole thing.
then
Yes, yes, we have to blame The Rock on that one. And
and then and then there was just no plan. And then they did the title reign. They did the stuff with R-Truth that ended up resulting in literally nothing. Literally nothing.
I was like thinking, oh man, Truth missed the boat. He should have just gone on the Indies and like as Ron Killings, he would have been
Yeah.
so over by now.
And
But
and then he started having match like people wanted to see him face AJ one more time. People want like what he should have been doing instead of turning heel, even though I understand the whole idea of doing that, but if you didn't actually have a plan for him turning heel, what he should have been doing is every single date that he was available, he should have been facing somebody he's never faced before. That's what he should have did the entire time. And they ruined that. And now we're in November. He only has 4 dates left total.
yeah, like I guess whenever he's supposed okay, I guess so this tournament is supposed to determine his final opponent at Saturday Night main event at Washington DC in the middle of
Yes.
December, and then in between there's a War Games happening. Is Cena in War Games? I don't know.
Yeah.
They haven't really done anything to indicate
So
that
there's
what the teams are.
A Boston Raw
Oh yeah,
Survivor
Boston Raw
Series,
coming up. Yeah,
Boston Raw Survivor Series, NYC Raw, and
in Washington DC.
Washington DC, and that's it. That's all that's left.
Wow.
That's crazy. It's crazy to think that John Cena's career is coming to an end, but it's also crazy to think that they absolutely fumbled it. Like this entire year of John Cena was just absolutely fumbled, and it's so unfortunate. I mean, and we've seen them fumble retirement stuff before. They fumbled Kurt Angle's retirement. They it's not surprising, but it's just like this guy gave more to your company than literally anybody. And you couldn't think of something good enough for him? You couldn't think of some grandmaster, like big end of his career thing
I
throughout the
mean,
entire
there's
year?
four dates left. I really have no idea. I mean, I was really optimistic that he would take the Intercontinental title off Dominic Mysterio
Well, that could
because
still happen.
when yeah, that could still happen. And at this point, it might because I don't see anybody beating Dominic Mysterio because the guy has beaten literally everybody. He is the king of the luchadors.
I mean, he's beaten Rusev twice. He's
Right.
beat he's beaten
Penta
Penta
maybe a couple times. He's beaten both
multiple
of them.
times.
He's beaten both of them at the same time.
He's beaten AJ, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. I understand what they're doing with Dominic, and it he's gotten
Ray's back on in the picture, so I
yes,
don't know what's
yes.
gonna happen there
So
again.
Ray's back, and I mean he's been gone for a long time,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's getting up there. He's already a Hall of Famer, so I can't imagine that he's going to be doing it for much longer. But yeah, it's just so disheartening because like fans like us like grew up on this company specifically because there wasn't anything else to watch, right?
Hmm.
Because they killed their competition. And we talk about all the time how like they don't like having competition. That's why they don't like AEW. But AEW and WWE being around is good for wrestling as a whole because there's multiple places for people to work. And because there's another place, they shouldn't be trying to ruin that place. They should be trying to be better than that place. And maybe they're doing that on the money side, but they're not doing that on the product side at all. Like, not even a little. There's nothing that WWE is doing on their product in any way, shape, or form that is better than AEW as a product. Nothing. And maybe that's just me being biased, but I can't, and I can honestly say I can't find one thing that I like that WWE does over AEW right now. Not one thing. And AEW has its flaws. I'm not saying it doesn't. It definitely does. But WWE is a lot worse. A lot worse. And I hate that. And that's why I have scaled down considerably the amount of WWE that I watch. Like I said, when WWE was the only place in town and there was really no way really to watch other things. I mean, TNA was bad in 2010s, like really bad.
Yeah,
And
TNA only really picked up when like the hard when they started doing the broken mat stuff. Like that was
yeah,
the one reason I
and
watched TNA.
it was almost impossible to find places to watch Ring of Honor because it wasn't on national TV. It was only on Sinclair Broadcasting at the time, and that was not something that was carried by every cable provider. So it was almost impossible to watch it. So WWE was the only thing available to watch, really, if you didn't tolerate TNA. Because New Japan didn't have American crossover.
Yeah.
A lot of Japanese wrestling didn't have American crossover until like this past decade. And you only were able to see those matches through like videos online and stuff that friends shared with you and stuff like that. So WWE was always the only place in town for us to watch. And we tolerated a lot of bad stuff like 2009 and 2011 and 2019 where the product was worse than it is now. And I'm only now, after watching WWE nonstop for almost 30 years, not able to watch everything anymore. And I hate that. I hate that. But it's also because there's other options.
I
That
also think, yeah, I mean, just to maybe interrupt your train of thought here, I also think right now that despite your feelings towards WWE and the quality of the product and the sort of directionless theme it has going on, unfortunately, it may have made itself way more easily accessible these days than it's ever been. All of their programming, at least for me as being as Canadian, is on Netflix. And actually, that's from what I can tell from in most other countries around the world, most people get WWE off of Netflix now. I don't understand this whole distribution thing that you guys got going on in America. Raw's on Netflix, SmackDown's on still on USA until whatever the contract expires. NXT's on CW. All of that can be watched on Netflix from my vantage point. And then
yeah,
you got Saturday night, the show main event on NBC, and then like Tubi, and now it's ESPN. Like what the heck? Like it's just all over the place. Which I get probably because of the money thing that you want. Like Nick Khan's whole, yeah, we're trying to gen as much revenue out of this as possible with all these
yeah.
distribution rights.
I will say that I think a lot more people are going the VPN route than ever before
Yeah.
to watch wrestling. I mean, I'm doing it too. I have NordVPN and I use Netflix to watch everything because it's better. Uh, when I watch Raw, I watch it without commercials because I have a VPN. If I watch SmackDown, I watch it on Netflix like you do and watch it with limited commercials because they have some weird
Yeah.
They
They've
have
got
some
like a split between just showing you the match that takes place during a commercial, and then this weird um thing where they play some funky background music, and it's just all these like shots of their talent posing and stuff,
yeah,
and it's a little thing
yeah,
in the banner running at the bottom says "We'll be right back" in like 50 different languages.
yeah. And they started doing that on pay-per-views now, which is crazy to me. I mean, they're not called pay-per-views because whatever, premium live events. But and that's like even adding to all of that. WrestlePalooza was a bad show. Saturday night's main event was a bad show. So you have bad shows building to worse shows. The bad weekly TV building to worse pay-per-views. And then you only
So,
have
so the
five.
WrestlePalooza, the only match I think stood out was Stephanie versus Io. I think that was it.
Mhm.
And in terms of the recent Saturday night main event, that was bad because I think it was because the Punk and Jay match was not up to par, and that might have been something to do with Jay's personal issues. That's all I will
Uh,
say.
I mean, we don't want to
Rumored,
speculate.
rumored personal issues.
Yeah.
Let's just say he was a bit blown up that night and may not have.
Well, if you believe Xavier Woods, he's blown up every
Okay,
night.
so
Because
it's a regular thing, right? Right, but yeah,
because
no, it was
not
not
even
memorable.
not even that, like because Jay uses all of his energy during his entrance, so when he gets in the ring, he's sucking wind the entire time. But
Hmm.
it's just and like even this pay-per-view model that they have now, or this premium live event model that they have now, where they only have 5 matches in the span of 3 hours, and the matches aren't even more than 15 minutes long. So you have all these breaks in between matches on pay-per-views when you could be using time to have more matches. Instead, you just have the 5 biggest matches that you can think of that are not that great, just taking up time. And in between the matches, you have either on the international side a screen that just says, "We'll be right back," or on the American side, they're playing commercials during pay per views. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's never happened before. That is so odd.
And it's just, and then they're playing, or they'll play like hype videos of somebody. And like, I don't need you to give me a hype video about Gunther in the middle of the pay per view. I know about Gunther because I watched the show. How about instead of putting on 5 matches during a 3 hour show that only 40 minutes of the show is actual wrestling, put on more matches? Like, what are we doing here? So that's just another thing. It's like, and then there, and again, this is another thing that we've talked about multiple times: the pettiness of them, of their booking on the same day as other shows, specifically AEW shows. If there's an AEW show and a WWE show on at the same time, I'm watching AEW because I want to see wrestling. I'm never going to choose WWE over AEW if they're on at the same time, ever. Because on that show, there's wrestling to watch. More wrestling than there is on the other show. And again, that's me being biased. I understand that. But AEW gives me what I want to see, which is actual matches. I want to see wrestling. And I get that you have to tell a story. They tell plenty of stories in the matches. And then when they have to do promos, they do promos. WWE does not care that I don't enjoy the show. They never will. And that's never going to change because people are not going to turn it off. Because the main people that are watching it are the people who don't care if the show is good.
Sorry, I just saw something that Sean Ross Sapp posted. Apparently, this is a 2022 list of WWE talent approved to get haircuts.
Yes,
Among the two that were on here, Bobby Lashley and
no hair.
Ricochet.
no hair. Yes.
Yes, the man that is literally called bald every night now was slated to get a haircut 3 years ago.
Well, because back then, you had to go through, go through hoops to get a haircut in WWE.
Yeah, so they had Happy Corbin on here, but I think at that point, I'm trying to remember if at that point he was already bald.
He was.
Yeah, but anyway, but yeah,
Yeah.
just the idea, like I don't know if that's just like, yeah, like as you mentioned, like I don't. Are you serious? If they were on a list to get a haircut, to bald men, like what are you doing? Like that's like
Well,
some
especially
stupidity.
during the Vince era, there was that whole like because I remember this distinctly, like in like 2012 when Zack Ryder was over as hell
Yeah,
and he dyed his hair,
right.
and Vince McMahon wanted to bury him because they had all of his merch where he had brown hair, but now he was blonde, and Vince was not happy. Like that's shit that happened because it's like, oh well, we have merchandise where your hair is this color, so you can't dye your hair. That was the thing, and it's shitty. It's very
Yeah,
shitty. But
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, another thing, I guess. Well, to try to veer off and actually maybe say another positive thing about at least this era of WWE at this point is that they are way more open to partnering with like different companies and like letting their talent do outside projects way more
sure.
openly than it did ever under Vince. Like the
Oh
amount
yeah,
of like GCW has I've seen more from like unused talent who have not been used on WWE in GCW than I have in the actual show. And of course this TNA thing, like I mean, at this point, I don't know if I care anymore that TNA gets bought out by WWE. I don't even know like how they would structure such a buyout. I'm very intrigued as to what this live taping, this live show of TNA Impact coming up on November 13th is going to be like because they literally took a month off after Bound for Glory for
yeah,
reasons that still escape me. You
yeah.
just crown a new champion, and then the first thing you do is have go on a month break. Either
And
something big is happening in terms of a TV distribution deal, or it's like the biggest fumble that company has
mhm,
had yet. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, in terms of like WWE, like they bought AAA earlier this year, and I found
mhm,
myself I've been able to watch more AAA stuff than I did previously because now they put them on their YouTube channel. Like Triple Mania was all on just WWE's YouTube channel. Like the show before that I had no access to. It's just as
mhm,
I just watch it off YouTube. Oh, okay.
mhm.
And now they're letting obviously they selectively pick AAA talent that they feel are more compatible with a WWE audience. Hence, that is why a man and a stuffed lizard is going over with the audience, or how a white man playing a Mexican luchador somehow is way more over with a Mexican Hispanic audience than he is in the main show.
Well,
Um,
this is also an audience that would prefer to see a man who is an abuser on their screen than the Kingo, which
Yeah,
is
that is so
crazy.
odd. I remember when the days when Vikingo and Kenny Omega were just having these like 9-star matches. It was just crazy.
Yeah,
And then like I'm seeing Vikingo booed. I'm like, why is he getting booed? I don't get it.
he's
Is
getting
it
booed because that audience wants to see Alberto Del Rio, which is crazy in 2025. Not even just because he's getting up there and he's not as good as he used to be, but because he is also a very horrible person.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to understand that whole psyche of the Mexican fan as to what it's like me trying to understand another culture is just like what.
And you know what's crazy is that WWE has said, I mean, at least in reports that have come out by multiple sources, that they want absolutely nothing to do with Alberto Del Rio, which is fine, and I prefer that. Why don't they want nothing to do with Brock Lesnar? Why don't they want nothing to do with other people that are problematic?
Yeah, it's not a consistent message that you're sending to like I don't know, maybe I don't and that's another unfortunate thing you're highlighting is like what because like the Mexican fan are not as in plugged into like what things have happened in the past or
Mm-hmm.
is it just because like are you just trying to tell us that what Mexicans are okay with rape? That I don't know. That's a really horrible thing for me to say, but it's just like
Yeah,
coming
no,
off like that.
we're not implying that.
Apparently,
It's
Americans,
just,
we don't care either.
but it's mind-boggling to me that, oh, okay, well, yeah, no, we want nothing to do with this guy because his shit is proven, right? But Brock Lesnar wasn't proven, so he can be around. Nobody cares. But oh well, did you think about maybe your female demographic might not be a fan of that? Um, Not even a little, right?
Hmm.
So it's just again, I said at the top of the show that this was going to be very negative on my end, and I this is why I don't review WWE shows because that would also be very negative. Um, there would be some positive in there probably, but not a lot. um, but yeah, uh, I don't know what's going on. I I don't know who WWE is for. That is probably the biggest thing out of all of the stuff we talked about. Who is WWE for? Because I don't know the answer. Is it for children? If it's for children, then put on a show that's for children. Is it for casual fans? If it is, I guess you're doing that, but you're not doing it well. Or is it for your diehard fans who have been here since day one? It's definitely not for them because they actually care about the show. And you don't care if they care.
Yeah, and to dig another to put another dig in at WWE, they've really done a hit and miss on like certain talent they brought in from outside, especially from Japan. What I think they're doing with Stephanie Foucault right now is good. They've really built her up to be a champion. I mean, they made her a double champion, and then now they put the women's world title on her. Unfortunately, that's not the same for Julia. Apparently, Julia just lost tonight to Chelsea Green, and she lost the women's United States championship to Chelsea Green. And what I saw was a very short match. And it was like, I watched it and I'm like, wait, is the match over? And I'm like, I didn't even know it was for the title because I had the sound off. But apparently it was for the title. So Chelsea Green is now also a singles champion as well as a tag champion in AAA because she and Ethan Page are the AAA mixed tag team champions. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, did they put the belt back on Chelsea just to get that image of the
Of
two of
course.
them with like wrapped in gold and just being as annoying as
Of,
fuck?
of, of course they did.
So you took
Because
this international superstar that you brought on that had like this resume of just beating the shit out of people, and you kind of just made her very mediocre.
and we talked about when Julia came in of my concern of when Julia came in because I just had a feeling that she was going to be one of those people that they bring her in even though she has this big international background and that she's one of the better Japanese wrestlers at the time to come out of Japan, and they put her in a title they put her with a title that they don't care about, and from what you're saying, a horrible, really short match to
Like
have her lose
it
it.
was just a blur of things, and then Chelsea like basically got the pin with her feet on the ropes, and then got the 1, 2, 3, and then ran out. And then I just looked at later a post. Apparently, oh, she's a new United States Women's Champion. Oh, I was like, oh wait, that's for the title. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I have to
it's
verify
a
this. To
it's
be
a
honest.
it's a shame what they're doing with Julia, unfortunately, and that's it. I mean,
Yep.
even when she was in Marigold, she was still killing it, but she was only in Marigold to help them establish the company, and then she was leaving for WWE. and now she's where she is. And I mean, this should say everything about WWE because Julia did an interview around the time of SummerSlam where she said that she would feel like a failure if she was not on the SummerSlam card. Well, guess where she wasn't? On the
Not on the SummerSlam card. Actually, I'm just looking at the stats right now. So Julia's reign, this current United States, obviously, this reign as U.S. Women's Champion ended at 133 days, which technically makes her the longest reigning Women's United States Champion for what that's worth, because Chelsea's first reign was only 131 days. And Chelsea won tonight in, of all places, Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh yeah, and remember on WWE Untold where she got upset because she didn't get to wrestle in Vancouver?
So like, hey Chelsea, instead of wrestling in your hometown, we make you win a title in a place named after you, literally.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make up for you? But like, okay, so they literally just gave Julia the longest reign by a day, and then just like, okay, well, let's end it.
Yeah, but how many times did she defend the belt?
I don't remember. 2, 3 times?
Like 2?
Like, and now they've just put the the WWE Women's title on Jade, and well, she looks like Jade Cargill from AEW. And they did a thing tonight where she had this backstage confrontation with Michin and B-Fab, and then suddenly someone put a picture. They're like, they put that backstage confrontation there, and then they transposed it to the picture of like Jade Cargill when she was with Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan when they were doing the baddies, and I was like, oh, they do.
Oh,
they're just repeating.
They're just gonna
repeating AEW storylines because they don't have any of their own.
Because they don't have anything for Michin and B-Fab.
I mean, they weren't. To be honest, like they have them challenge for like Julia's title at the time, and they have like them have random tag matches. They put them in a pair as a tag team. At least they have a tag team for them, but they weren't doing anything. And I don't think they were really catching traction as a baby faces. So maybe they will put them with Jade as faction.
Again, it's just another thing. It's like why they can't focus on all the titles that they have, like because the US title means nothing. The women's tag titles practically mean nothing. Like, I mean, yes, right now you have them on Charlotte and Alexa, who are actually defending them, which I'm actually so that's a positive, right? They're actually defending those tag titles more than one time in every 3 months. But like we talked about like how Seth Rollins got stripped of his title, right? Because he's going to be gone for like probably close to 6 months or whatever. But if his injury was not as bad as it was, why bother stripping him? Because you had Roman holding the title for 4 months at a time before he would defend the belt. Like, yeah, like it's just. It's everything is upside down because you don't
not injured, just taking a lot of time off.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that a lot of the big names that we care about are not around, like Seth and like Kevin Owens.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, it's just, and again, they don't care about the tag titles on Raw. They don't care about the women's tag titles. They don't care about, they barely care about any of their titles that are not the world title or the Intercontinental title. So it's just that, and that's the main reason that I don't watch SmackDown, because they don't care about the titles that are on that show. They care about Cody.
Other than other than him. Yeah.
They care about Cody, and that's it. Literally, that's it.
Just to go back to your point about Charlotte and Alexa, they did a little thing where Jade came out. I think she literally just said, "I'm that bitch," and then she just walked out of the ring, and then she was making her way to back, and I was like, "Is that segment over?" And then suddenly Charlotte Flair's video package comes up, and so they're good. They did this thing where Charlotte and Jade passed each other. And then Charlotte's like doing this thing where she's looking at Jade, and then she looks like she was going to rush her. And then Alexa's like, no, Char, you're a tag champion now. You got to focus on the tag titles, not on that shiny thing that she's carrying. Remember, you're in the tag team.
Yeah.
So it's like they're teasing Charlotte Flair once again going for world title number infinity +1.
Yeah. And that's certainly something we want to see, right?
Charlotte versus Jade. I mean, that hasn't been done yet. So,
well, no, I'm not talking about the match. I'm talking about Charlotte with a belt.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, of course, we eventually do want to see Charlotte versus Jade, but we want to see a good match, and Jade hasn't done that yet. So
yeah. You just don't want to just throw them together in a title match, right? Like, if you were in a normal wrestling company, you would do things that, like, have qualifying matches, and then like maybe have that person lose once first, and then work their way back up, and then like win.
Actually, build people up to
yeah,
earn
yeah.
their
I
title
think
shots.
that is what I'm trying to get at. But apparently, you don't really need to do that because we're the biggest wrestling company in the world, and yeah, we just want to see so and so.
And it doesn't matter. Nothing matters because you remember when people were just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna attack the champion," and then he'll get mad and he'll want to defend his title against me.
Yeah, right. That's how you usually do it, right? Because that's how.
Because
because Aleister Black just walked out there, but they're just wrestling in a normal match. It's not like a title match right away, but still, yeah.
Yeah. So again, I just want them to care, and they very clearly do not, and that's very unfortunate. But I think we're gonna call it a show there because we could only rant for so long about so many things.
If we just kept going, this would go on for 4 hours.
That's true because I could probably find something wrong with everybody on the roster. So I'm not going to do that. I hope they figure their shit out, but I don't think that's going to happen because things have been very bad since January. It's November.
Yeah.
So yeah. We're going on a year of this crap. So, and we're going back to Vegas for WrestleMania because woohoo, Vegas, all the money, guys. We gotta make all the money. And then we're gonna go to Saudi Arabia. Yay! Because we care about our UK fans. So we're not gonna give them a WrestleMania. We're gonna give it to Saudi.
Yes, because they have oil money.
Yeah.
And God knows what else.
So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. Make sure to go to our linktree / going over big time podcast. It has every link of how to listen to this podcast, how to watch this podcast, as well as our social medias for me, Alan, and the podcast itself. So that is going to do it for me. Alan, give us your closing thoughts.
Yeah, just just follow us, and we'll try to regularly talk about the subject. And no, not every episode is gonna be this doom and gloom kind of thing. But just to everyone out there, stay safe. Just watch the wrestling you enjoy, and yeah, that's all I've got.
All right, that's gonna do it for us. Have a good one, everybody.